Okay, it is noon right now. Just going to wait for a little bit to see if we have any extra people joining us today. I know that in New Zealand, this time is just not at all possible for anyone to actually join because you're not awake yet. But for the rest of you, we will wait a few moments and see. I'm going to very quickly here go into, let's just go into here today. Okay, I'm gonna pop this up. Now, as I mentioned on here, this literally has nothing to do with what we are going to be talking about today, but it's a really cool little recipe, so I thought I would put it on there in case anyone is interested in a breakfast hot matcha smoothie. Okay, this is jam-packed of things that are actually good at balancing hormones. So not if you're pregnant, by the way, as it mentions on the sheet there. Maca powder is not suggested when you're pregnant or when you are nursing. So pregnant or nursing, don't indulge in that, but other than that, you should be okay. Okay, so we'll wait for just a few more minutes. Talking about some of the things that we have already gone over. So today we're going into nutrition number 3, which means we've already covered 2 other nutritional habits, which we've done for 1 week each. This next one we're going to be doing for 2 weeks, what we're talking about today, really focusing on that because I want to make sure that it becomes more than second nature. It becomes exactly who you are. So make sure that you certainly pay attention today because I'm going to give you a few really cool examples that sometimes we just don't think of. Okay, so let's see quickly where we are at. Okay, so today we are talking about protein, right? We covered eating slowly. We covered eating until you're 80% full. And those are really, really basic, sort of foundational, key rock habits that you need to get under your belt before just about anything else matters, right? And as I mentioned last week, it seems like it's just so easy to do that we overlook it. Okay, I'll eat slowly. But do you actually eat slowly? Or are you trying to get out the door and drinking something as you're driving to work, or trying to shuffle in some eggs as you're getting the kids ready or something? We don't really do it, and we don't allow ourselves the time to do that. And so we don't really get it under our belt, and it takes a concerted effort. And we just don't think that it does, so we take it for granted, right? And also eating until we're 80% full. As I mentioned last week, our food now, especially if you've been eating processed food for any period of time, is designed to keep you eating. That's what businesses want. They want you to be eating their products constantly and never stopping. They love obesity. They have no problems with it, right? And so the food is literally designed to be super tasty and feel so awesome in your mouth that you just want to keep eating more and more of it. And our natural feedback loop, so it's called the leptin feedback loop, it just gets completely thrown off. So the natural messages that we typically get that get sent to the brain saying, okay, I'm done, I'm full, they just get cut off, and we don't actually get those anymore. So when we're trying to, come back into health and start eating properly and eating nutritiously again, you really need to take that into consideration, okay? So slowing down and eating until you're 80% full are 2 major keys to really understand about your body, your nutritional process, because that's what it is, right? Food doesn't just happen to you. You choose to do it, you learn habits, and then that becomes your behaviors and what you act on every day, okay? So getting those 2 down is really, really key, and having them in the back of your mind constantly is going to set you up for success throughout the rest of this nutritional curriculum, okay? So today, protein. our mission for the next 2 weeks is to eat protein at every single feeding. So that's not just every, major meal that you have, or you can sit down and have a steak or something. This is at every time you eat. So if you're having a snack, there's got to be some protein in there, right? So often people, when I first chat with them about what they're eating for snacks, it's granola bars, it's, an apple, it's a lot of stuff like that is not high protein. And what we're going to go for the next 2 weeks is getting in this high protein. Why? Because we need protein for almost every metabolic process in the body. And here's a quick definition that I just literally stole off the internet about metabolic process. It's the organic processes in a cell or organism that are necessary for life. So essentially, protein is necessary for life. Kind of important, right? It's pretty easy to understand, I think, protein. Most people get a pretty good grasp on protein, and they get it, they understand it. It preserves your muscle mass, so especially as we get older, it is so key to make sure that we're taking in enough protein. Otherwise, our muscles are just going to shrink and die. And that's going to suck, okay? It helps you to feel full because it takes longer to digest than carbs do. And because of this, there is a thermal effect of food. So if you've ever heard of that before, what it means is that because it takes so much more to digest, it burns more calories to digest. That's why it's so much more beneficial to, fill yourself up on protein than it is on, a bag of chips or a bowl of pasta or something like that. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, for those of you who are interested in things like that, and it is the raw material for just about everything. So I'll get into exactly what that means in a second. We are going to eat it with oh my gosh, I swear every time I go live, there's a phone call on the office line. But that'll be gone in a second. I'll just let that go by before I keep talking so that you don't get distracted by the phone ringing. I know I will. Okay, come on, phone. I think we're good. Okay, cool. So we're going to eat it with every single meal, okay? Every single one, like I mentioned. All right. So proteins, let's talk about exactly what they do and what they are. They make up every single tissue in your body, every single one. They are critical for both muscle repair and growth and make up your body's supply of hormones, neurotransmitters. So those are those messages that go back and forth within your body from brain, to gut to brain and everywhere, right? And antibodies, so things that are going to attack any viruses and stuff that come in. Your body doesn't do anything properly, let alone grow muscle, or if you are pregnant, nurture a baby without adequate protein intake, okay? And I know when you're pregnant, it can be slightly difficult to try and get that protein in if you're feeling nauseated, but this is where you really want to be aware of all of the different choices that you have so that whatever you feel like on that day, you can actually just grab and take with you. To get the protein that your body needs, you need to eat a whole serving of protein. So that's the size of your palm, remember, with every meal, and either a half serving of a complete protein, okay, and I'm going to go over what these are, or a whole serving of an incomplete protein with every snack, okay? So if you're eating a whole protein, you don't need to have the palm at your snacks. You can only have a half palm. But if you're eating incomplete proteins, you're going to want to try and get that full palm in, okay? So what is the difference between complete and incomplete? Some people are a little bit shaky on what this actually means. So animal sources like beef, chicken, salmon, eggs, turkey, cottage cheese, they are the complete proteins. What does that mean? They contain a full array of amino acids. So this is all the essential amino acids that your body can only get from food, okay? They've got everything, and you need to eat these, okay? So it's suggested to go more pasture-raised, grass-fed, or wild-caught sources of your meat and seafood because they potentially contain fewer contaminants and hormones than their conventionally raised counterparts. So if you can't do this, you can choose leaner cuts of meat. So if you're a steak eater, the sirloin over a skirt steak, for example, so anything that has less fat in it, because these contaminants and toxins and all the crap that's in our food these days are actually stored in fat, just like they are in human beings. Which is why, on a side note, sometimes when you lose a lot of weight, you start to get sick, right? Because you're actually burning that fat, and within that fat contains toxins and gross crap that we've accumulated over time, and that gets metabolized, and it kind of makes us feel gross. Just as a quick side note. But that's the same thing for the animals that you may or may not be eating, right? So what is an incomplete source? Non-animal protein sources. So this is your nut butters, your legumes, things like that. They tend to be incomplete. There are some that are complete, which I'll mention, okay? Every plant protein source has a slightly different amino acid profile. So it's not that complete profile that you have in meats and fish, for example. So this is where you have to mix and match. So if you are a vegan or vegetarian, it is really crucial that you make sure you get an array of these different protein sources so that you can get that full spectrum of your amino acids that you require, okay? However, if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, which is totally fine, try not to get all of your protein from vegetable-based sources. Sorry, if you're not a vegan or a vegetarian. And this is why. Because they have a tendency to be high in fat, which could put you over your caloric needs for the day, and may end up putting weight on you. So for example, if you're eating a ton of nuts and, trying to get your protein intake just on nuts, well, there's a ton of fat in there too. And so you got to be a little bit careful about things like that. Due to low protein content, it takes a lot more. So if you're eating beans only for your protein, you got to eat a heck of a lot more to get the amount of protein that you need than if you were to just eat a steak, right? And then you're eating so much more, and then you look at the carbs that are in your beans, and it starts to sort of become a little tricky. So if you're not a vegetarian or a vegan, don't just eat nuts or seeds or beans and things like that for your protein intake, okay? Okay, if you don't eat meat, just try to eat foods like quinoa, hemp seeds, and hemp butter. So these are actually complete protein. So yay for you vegans and vegetarians out there that have the full array of essential amino acids, okay? Dairy foods, which are not vegan, are also complete protein sources if you're vegetarian, okay? So this is just a quick little diagram that sort of shows what you need to mix with what. So you're not just going to eat seeds, you'll eat seeds and legumes or dairy and grains, okay? So you got to really be mixing these things with each of your meals if you are vegan or vegetarian, okay? Minus the dairy if you're vegan, of course. Okay, so here is what a protein breakdown, what it is and when you want to eat it, okay? Obviously, the food type is a lean, complete protein source. If possible, food timing is eaten with each feeding opportunity. So something like carbs or something when you're trying to drop weight, you want to keep till post-exercise. This you want to eat with every single feeding opportunity for the reasons mentioned. It keeps you fuller. There's a thermal effect of food and feeding, right? So it burns more calories just to eat. The food amount, again, you want to do that palm-sized serving for every meal. If it's a complete protein, half a palm for each snack, okay? So these are some of the examples. Obviously, meat, you know what meat is. I don't need to tell you. Fish, eggs, low-fat dairy is good because, again, I mean, you know how I feel about dairy. I do like having full-fat dairy, but it's better if you can have that from organic sources and stuff, which is sometimes hard to get because, again, that fat carries all of the toxins and the gross stuff. So if you don't have that option, go low-fat dairy because we're going to be eating a lot of this. We want to try and keep our exposure to that stuff to a minimum. Your vegetarian sources, tofu, tempeh. I do suggest tempeh over tofu, soy burgers, soy jerky, soy sausage, all of the soy stuff. Protein supplements, there's milk-based, there is non-dairy, so vegan choices as well, which I do highly suggest if you are in that boat, okay? It's an easier way to get that protein, and it's just the protein, right? So you don't have to worry about all of the effects of extra stuff in your foods. So here are some ideas for a protein grab and go, okay? That sometimes, I mean, we know about them, we just don't think about all the time. Greek yogurt cups, so you can get those in the cups and take them to work. Snack size cottage cheese, same thing. pepperettes, as long as these things are all natural and you can find them, and they're not that much more expensive than just the regular stuff that's out there, go for it. Get it and pop it in a, a Ziploc or something and take it with you in your purse. Chorizo pepperoni. We don't think of these, but these you can take anywhere, right? Again, all natural deli meat, or you can get the roasted turkey breast or chicken and stuff that's pre-cooked and very easy for you to take anywhere. Pumpkin seeds are big ones. I love them. I'm a huge fan of Quest bars for protein bars. Right now, if you are in Canada, at least in Ontario, they are 3 for $13 at Shoppers. So that's great for 3 meals, right? $13. Jerkies of any kind, hummus, bean dips, those are easy to take with you. Nut butters, nuts, cheese strings, or any individually packed cheese. So sometimes you can find those really easily. Lattes in a pinch, right? If you're out, just grab a latte. Of course, not like one of the crazy ones that has a ton of sugar and it's like a party in your mouth, but just a regular latte. Go ahead and grab that. Roasted chickpeas, one of my favorites post-workout. Protein shake, smoked salmon. I can't do that since pregnancy, but I know a lot of people who still love that. Individual tuna cups, those are easy to take with you. Sardines, they're not as gross as we think they are, so go ahead and pick one up, see if you like it. Sushi, and of course if you're pregnant, you switch that up to the various kinds of sushi that you can have, anything that's cooked, right? So it's not really sushi, but you know what I mean by that. Sometimes they're easy to grab and go. Hard-boiled eggs, okay? So that's a really easy thing to prep and have for the week. Hard-boiled eggs, you have perfect snacks all the time, okay? Higher protein strategies. So how do we get it in? Things you want to cook immediately, okay? Just get a huge package of protein from the second that you buy it. So you walk in the house, take it out of the bag, just put it in a pan and pop it into your oven so that it's done. Again, those hard-boiled eggs, great way to have that. Get an adult diaper bag. So I talked about this a lot over the holidays, if you guys will remember that. But I keep one all the time, and it is always packed with these things, okay? Because I want to make sure that I'm ready, because I am certainly a person who gets hangry. We know that I am battling some stress due to lack of sleep because of the baby, and I find the biggest thing that'll tip me off is if I'm hungry and I don't have any food. So I have to make sure that I have these things constantly with me so that I don't allow myself to get to that place where I don't like myself very much, right? Okay, so if you are at work and you have a fridge, make sure you have these kinds of things just sitting in your fridge at work, right? Do yourself a favor and make sure that you're prepped so you're never stuck. Things in the car, I always just keep trail mix, okay? There's not a lot that you can really keep in your car, but I find trail mix is just fine. So things that you want to make a ton of when you're actually cooking them: stews, sauces, stir-fry meats, right? You can just add the vegetables later in some sauce. Burgers, casseroles, lasagna, chili. Meatballs. Okay, here we go. I got to go through all of this all over again. It's okay. It's a good reminder for you guys. Okay, so if you're making any of those big meals, just make a ton, and then separate what you're going to eat for the actual your actual meal that you're eating, and then put the rest in an open bowl or something in the fridge, allow it to cool down, and then pop it into something that you can freeze it in, right? So if you have glass containers for casseroles and things like that. If not, just wrap these things in tin foil and put them in freezer-friendly bags, okay? This is going to stop the release of the crap that's in plastic from getting into your food while it's in the freezer. Okay, so we've gone over all that stuff. I hope you guys have some really cool ideas now about how easy it is to grab your protein and have it actually in every single feeding. Adequate protein for daily intake is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight, okay? So remember that 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds, depending on where you are in the world and how you convert that, or not convert it, but what system you're using, okay? So for a 150-pound woman, that is 55 grams of protein per day, okay? So I will throw up under this when I post this in our group, and just a basic example of how much protein is in some of these common foods that we eat all the time. So you have an idea, if you're not tracking on MyFitnessPal or within our app, you'll have an idea of how much protein is in things. So you really can get a clue about what to do here, okay? So what this all means is get that protein palm in, right? I talk about it a lot, but make sure that is the amount that you're getting with every meal, and half of that for your snacks, unless it's an incomplete protein, okay? So if you're new, just get a little more protein with every meal, okay? This doesn't have to be hard. We're just adding something into what you already do. So we're gonna have a little more protein with each meal. If you're seasoned and been doing this for a while, here's what I want you to do. I want you to expand your protein repertoire, because I'm guilty of this too. We have a tendency to eat the same things over and over and over again. So expand your protein profile. If you've never had bison, go out and buy it. Make some bison burgers this week. See what it's like. Just expand and try some new stuff, okay? And now, some of the fun stuff. Do you guys want this fun new recipes book? Look at this. This cover is hilarious. It makes me laugh so much, but I love it. In order to get this book, here's what I want you to do today, okay? It's yours when you post a quick video in this group. And this can be anything, okay? Post-workout, prepping food. I love that. You guys have some lovely ideas. I really want to see what you're doing in terms of food prep, so you can give us a little tutorial or something if you feel so inclined. If you just need to reach out, okay? You need some help with something, or you might be feeling a little either good or bad or whatever it is, just reach out. You know that we're all here for you. So that's a great idea for a video as well. You can literally post anything. You just need to post it in the group, okay? So I will pop this up afterwards in our group, and you can just post this right underneath, and I will send you these 42 delicious fat-burning recipes immediately, which is really cool because, as you notice, there are donuts on there, and that always makes me really happy. Post your video and say, I want the book, and I will get that for you ASAP. So thank you so much for watching. And one last thing, if you are feeling stuck, if you need some support in any sense, right? If you are unsure about the steps that you're taking, if you don't understand something, if you don't know if you're doing your workout properly, if you don't know how much weight you're supposed to be lifting, if you don't know, anything. It could be literally anything. If you don't understand why you're waking up and you feel a constant negative spiral, here's what I want you to do. I want you to book a call with me ASAP. And I've popped the link up in the group. I'll pop it below. And I'm also going to put these slides in a PDF right below here too. So you can click right on there where it says book a call with me ASAP, okay? I want you to book a call. It's not going to be a long call, so you don't have to worry about blocking out a couple of hours of your time or something. But what I want to do is make sure that you're on track, okay? The worst thing that can happen is for you to feel so overwhelmed with things that you need to do that you just become paralyzed, right? You're either in analysis paralysis or you're just paralyzed with fear, okay? And if either of those two situations are you right now, or you just need some clarity, I want you to book that call with me as soon as possible, okay? You can go right on this page and you're going to be able to do it. It's super easy, okay? So do that so that you don't feel stuck, okay? The last thing that I want for you is to feel stuck and not taking action steps, because there's probably just something small that I can help you with immediately and you can begin to move forward again, okay? So ladies, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the work that you do and the dedication that you have to your health and to your fitness. I can't wait to see what this next month is going to bring. So I am going to attempt to pop this off. It's just my face again. And just wish you a great week and a great day today. I hope that you've been able to take some amazing things from some amazing ideas about getting your protein in, and now you know how crucial it is, right? So enjoy the rest of your day. Again, I appreciate you, and I will chat with you soon.